Welcome to WeMove, which is our podcast series which dives into all of the intricacies of moving to France from the US. This is specifically done so that you can actually have some insight knowledge from our team on everything to do with visas, residency, but also insurance, buying a car in France, all of these little things that we do on a daily basis at French Connections HCB, and that will bring you an awful lot of knowledge on how to do things yourself, or of course, if you want to employ us to help you with your move. Again, guys, thank you for watching. And if you're interested in making a booking with one of us, you can go into the description links below and book your first consultation with us for free. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today's actually going to be a special episode which sits in between, I guess, our podcast series, Entrepreneur, and just our general advice and tips to how to move to France. Today, we're going to be talking to Juliette Aronco, our senior account manager at French Connections HCB. And we're going to be talking about all of the changes in requirements for visas that will be happening in 2025 to 2026. Equally unpacking some of the realities, truths about how to apply from the visa point of view all the way to residency, and why not citizenship or maybe even French nationality. So thank you, Juliette, for joining us today on the show once again.
With pleasure.
So let's start with, and the reason that I wanted to bring you on the show today, Juliette, is because I hear, and I think we all hear more and more worries, concerns from clients, misinformation also online about what kind of visa problems you might need and what things make for a successful visa application. Equally, questions like, can you remote work on a visitor visa? Other things that are more relevant to timing are, do you need to speak French to apply for a French visa? And if you do, what other levels that are going to be required? So if it's okay with you, let's maybe start with unpacking this from the very beginning. So first thing is, I'd like to remind our audience today is, although we are not trained lawyers, either of us, I am the director of a law firm based in the UK, which employs Avocats à la Cour Pia de Saint-Laurent, which is our immigration specialist in the team. We've also got other paralegals and legal colleagues of 186 in Paris that support us with any type of law in France. But Juliette, you administer all this. And more importantly, guys, I'm the one that has to refund you if things don't go well, because unlike any other company in this segment, we guarantee all of our application processes. So that being said, let's try and give you some general advice. And of course, all of these cases are very specific, and you should consult with a professional before you made any of these decisions. But the truth about the French requirements.
Yes.
So do you need a level of French to apply for a French long stay visa or working visa?
No. In fact, no. If you apply for a visitor visa, you do not need to have a French level. You could potentially need one after 5 years in France if you apply for a 10 years residency card.
Okay.
You need to be younger than 65 years old, but it's really after 5 years in France, and I hope you could speak French after 5 years in France to be comfortable in your life in France. So for the visitor visa, you do not need to have a French level.
So, and that's true for any type of visa application, which happens in the country of origin. There's no French level required.
Correct.
So whether that be a working visa, a talent passport, a long stay visitor, no French level required on the first application. So that's the first bit to cover. The second one is of course, in 2026, this is what's kind of created the buzz, I guess, online. And it's quite funny because we were watching videos of even competitors of ours that would say, no, there's no French level required. Suddenly we started talking about French level requirements for what we call a carte de séjour pluriannuelle, a multiple year carte de séjour, which actually does come with a French requirement.
Yeah.
But there is always an option to renew your visa into a residency card without a French level.
Yeah. At the moment, you stay visitor.
Yeah.
You can renew at the end of the first year, in any case, your visitor visa for residence permit visitor, and they do not ask a French level. So you can be reassured if you do not speak French.
You don't need to speak French. That's good.
That's okay.
If you were to apply for a multi-year one, though, you can't do that on the first year, and it's not gifted to you that you can do this. You have to basically, like citizenship, you have to make the request to do so. It's not something that happens automatically.
Absolutely. You have some conditions to obtain that residence.
And then if that happened, and this is, I think, where people have got confused, you're going from an A1 level in 2025 for a multi-year to an A2 level in 2026, which will be the requirement. And for citizenship, which we'll cover in a second, we're going to go from B1 to B2 level of French.
Exactly.
So we can maybe give some examples in the comments below of what A2 and B2 levels look like. I mean, B2 is quite a high standard. A2 is advanced beginner. So it's really not all of that complex. But as Juliette was saying, you're going to have several years to prepare for this at the very least. And of course, it's going to be part of your integration into France. So in that context, Juliette, right now, what does a visa application really, or residency application look like at the end of your visa time? So what happens?
At the end of the first year.
Yeah.
So 4 months before the expiration of the visa, we need to anticipate, yeah, because we can apply 4 months before the expiration. We can submit everything online. Normally, everything can be renewed online. After, if you plan to change your statute, we need to check with your local prefecture how they work, because they have different organizations, but generally we can do everything online and remotely. And you will just have one appointment to collect your residence permit when the application has been accepted. So there is no stress as for the visa to do an interview, to give your document, this type of things.
But that's changed recently, right? Because before there was an appointment.
Depends of the application. Okay. But it's just before everything was done physically. So we need to send.
So you had to go in?
Yeah, or to send by mail. Now everything, so France has a good evolution with the technology, and the software is quite good. We obtain the logins when we validate the visa when you arrive in France, and at the end of the first year, we need to renew everything.
So quite a reassuring process, and from a success rate, we're at 100% of
completely. Completely. It's quite well organized. So when you submit the application, you have a proof of that. It's a certificate you receive by email. Normally, if they do not finish to treat the application in time before the expiration of the visa, they give you a second certificate just to give more time to your visa. You can keep that certificate, you can travel with that certificate. And when it's accepted, you receive a third certificate, which tell the application has been approved, and after you receive the residency card.
And so that residency card would then be renewed every year.
Exactly.
And that's only if you were to do a multi-year application, which you can't do straight away anyway, that you'd have to prove an A2 level of French as of 2026 if you're under the age of 65.
Yeah, absolutely. In any case, I do advise to go to French class when you arrive in France, and after you can ask at the end to obtain a diploma. So you will have a test, and I do advise to do it at the end maybe of every year, just to make sure you have good level. And like explained, it's just most comfortable.
And so citizenship, because some people confuse the processes, and just if I can maybe clarify that, make sure that I'm not saying it mistakenly either, but you'll start with a type of visa that then transforms into what we call a carte de séjour, which is obviously often referred to as residency, right?
Yeah, but maybe we can say titre de séjour.
Titre de séjour.
Carte de séjour is more when it's very long.
It's a long one. So titre de séjour. And then if you did go to a carte de séjour, that's the long version. And after a period of 5 years, you could, if you chose to do so, apply for citizenship, which is not granted straight away. You've got to go through a whole process. And that's when you'd need a B2 level of French. That's quite a high level of French.
I agree. And also, I do advise when you apply for the citizen to apply for the 10 years card, because the 10 years card, it's, I will not say easy to obtain, but it's quicker to obtain the 10 years card than the citizen. The citizenship can take about a year to be obtained. It's quite
so hold on. Most of our clients would stay on. I think that's the reality. Most of our clients will stay on a longer term carte de séjour.
Yeah.
And just renew it every 10 years.
Yeah, but at the end of the 5 years, you can all of them can apply for a long carte de résident, which is for 10 years. And it's most comfortable to do all the process for the citizenship when you have this 10 years card. You can finally
You've got more time.
Exactly.
So to clarify, no French test on application in the country of leaving of visa application.
No.
No requirement for French levels unless you're applying for a more complex type of residency card.
Exactly.
And if you're over 65 years old,
you're okay.
You're okay. So I'm just interrupting this podcast to talk to you about Wise Bank. There are partners and official partners that enable you to open up a bank account whilst you're in your country of origin, and it's a totally digital and online process. That bank account will allow you to have a debit card, which you can use in France with 0 fees. It will also allow you to set up things like direct debits, cell phone subscriptions, utility bill subscriptions, and all of these things that will be really useful without having to go through all of the headache, which is opening a high street bank account. Wise and French Connections HCB work in official partnership, and thanks to that, you will get some great perks by clicking in the description box below and going on to our link to open up your free account today. So thanks again, guys, for this small interruption. And we do believe in Wise. We believe in them so much that we use them as our main bank in partner for all of our international businesses. I will now let you enjoy the rest of the podcast. And so I guess following on from the visa application process, there's also another question which is often asked, and I think we are fortunate enough to have both high court lawyers working with us specialized in immigration, professional chartered accountants that specialize in company creations, and of course advice for English speakers on taxes. We have a wealth advisor in the team. Like, we've got a very strong team. And I think the thing is if you ask them all individually, they'd all nearly disagree on what type of visa you need or what type of company you need and how that works. But if we wanted to make it a very simple kind of explanation for this remote working ability.
Yes.
There is no remote working visa per se.
Yes.
But on a visitor type visa, as long as you fit certain conditions, and I think the easiest answer to give is as long as you're working for a company that has no imprint in France, no economic activity in France, no other employees in France, and you are on a pay slip or pay stub, then that's pretty clear. You can work from home on a long stay visa. As long as you stay at home and you're not prospecting business in France and you pay taxes and you get paid in the country that you've come from. So if you're working for a big company and they're going to allow you to work from home, that's good. And we declare this to the embassy when you leave.
Exactly. So when we complete the form before to go to the appointment at the visa center, we do declare everything. We declare the company, we declare your work, and we ask all the people to bring with them the proof they work, a confirmation from the company you are going to work remotely. So it's not a secret, definitely, and we
expose
had success. So the authorities agree with that.
And another thing is probably if you are working for yourself and you're self-employed and you might have a limited company or an LLC, that's where it becomes a little bit gray, and probably you need to have a consultation with our team in order for us to be able to advise you on that. But it is also possible under certain criteria to remote work as being your own boss. One alternative is also what we call the visa profession libérale non salariée, which is essentially a sole proprietor, sole trader, if you're in the UK, type of visa where you can work for yourself, essentially. But it requires a business plan, prefecture approvals. You need more time to get this done.
Definitely.
You need to choose the right type of structure. That's something where you definitely need to have a consultation with both our chartered accountant potentially and our lawyers and maybe with me in general to make sure that we've gone down the right path. But I think it's something that's worth mentioning to our viewers today. If you do become a client of ours, we've got the solutions to go between all of these, right?
To choose the best option.
And we can also change your status in France.
Yes, exactly.
But that also takes time.
Yeah, we need to anticipate it. In any case, we are going to renew not the same type of visa, but we are going to do the residency application. Like explained for a visitor, if you want just to renew as a visitor, we do it 4 months before. If you want to change your statute, probably we are going to contact you 6-7 months before the expiration of the visa, because we need to do the business plan first, which can take time if we want to do it correctly. When it's done, we need to have a positive decision from the prefecture about the project. And after, we can submit the application. And like explained, that can be done by mail. So that can take time. French bureaucracy.
Yeah. And to be clear to all our viewers, we can manage all of this from company creation,
absolutely.
Business plan. Everything will be managed by our team. And it's all done internally. I think that's the main thing to say. Equally, all of our services come with a delivered goods reapplication, money back guarantee in full. So we're very, very conscious to not waste your time or ours as a client. But equally, we take this very seriously because our aim is to build a long-term relationship with clients, and we accompany people for many years. I think we've been doing business now for 7 years in this industry, and we keep on servicing people, throughout their time in France. Well, that might be tax, that might be company creation, change of statuses, renewals of the residency cards, etc., or titre de séjour, as you want us to call it. And so in terms of going through that process, Juliette, do you want to maybe give us a breakdown of what people could expect at French Connections? If you were to become a client, and I think you did this the other day, I was listening to it and I thought we really need to tell people how we do business. Could you just maybe give us an example of a typical, let's say the clients had watched one of our YouTube videos, had a consultation with myself, Will, or Alex. We've tailored a package for them. That's when your team takes over. What does that look like, generally speaking, if somebody's got a full relocation service with us?
So we are going to divide the work in 2 parts. The first part is before they arrive in France, and the second part is when they are in France. Before they arrive in France, they will be in touch with the person who take care about the titre de séjour if you are a member of European family, or the visa, if you apply for the visa. You will be in touch with the person. You will have a call first to understand what you need, what is your situation, and what is the difficulty. After you will have a call probably with me to take care about all of the rest and to explain how it's going to work. So, for example, if you want to buy a car in France, how it's going to be organized. If you need to find a place, this type of
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Buying a car.
Yeah.
What do we do?
So generally, we collect your criteria. When we have this, we just do a research. We send you some adverts. When it's done, we choose 2 or 3 cars. We organize inspection with a company we work with.
That's a supplement, though.
It's included.
Is it included? Yeah. Okay.
So we include 2 inspection. If it's more after, it's going to be a supplement. So we organize 2 inspection with the best car. When it's done, so it's done by a professional. It's not me who go to see the car. I do like car, but I'm not professional. They check everything. It's very good because they send back a report in English, which is clearly very complete, because if I call the garage is going to tell me, yeah, everything is perfect and we have bad surprise. So if the client takes the decision to buy the car, he has all the information he needs to know to buy this car. When it's done, we help you to put in place the insurance, which is an obligation in France to be insured. And after, we organize the delivery.
So that's included as well in the package.
Absolutely.
And we deliver anywhere on mainland France.
Anywhere.
To any private address, any airport.
Absolutely. Anywhere.
Any train station.
Yeah, and we try to have English driver.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And they'll show you how to use your car. They'll be waiting for you at the airport, so at the train station. And the main advantage is, of course, then you don't have to rent a vehicle.
Exactly. You can save money.
And if you've got animals, you can travel with your dog or your cat. And
exactly.
Cool. So cars out of the way, you've now got that. Sorry, I've interrupted. What else afterwards?
So after, if we need to find a property, we are going to define the difficulty, and after, what is going to be the best solution, if we can book an Airbnb or if we need to find straight a property, depends of your situation. As explained, sometimes book an Airbnb, finally save money than just to rent a place.
So expand a bit on this for those that haven't watched the previous videos, maybe. We have a team of 2 people that help, one that helps search for Airbnbs.
And the second one, find properties.
And for the longer term properties, all purchasing a property indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can services.
Adapt the organization, depends of your situation. If you book an Airbnb, you can save money because you are going to start the Airbnb exactly at the date you plan to arrive in France. If we need to find a long-term property in advance, generally the landlord are not going to wait your arrival to start.
But on the Airbnb, sorry to interrupt, it's just clear that people need to have enough money to pay for a year's worth of Airbnb.
Yeah, because we are going to
as well as their minimum income.
Exactly. And also,
it has to be a 90-day one, really. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
I've done this before, but it's for all of those viewers, Juliette, that haven't obviously got this.
And some clients, they have the capacity also to come before you have the visa.
Yep.
To just come and visit. And that could be also an advantage because they could go visit the properties in person, which is a big advantage for the agency also. They feel more confident to see who you are. So if you come in France before you have the visa appointments, we can organize everything for you. We can organize to have a taxi, for example, if you take the VIP package. We can organize to have a big planning with a lot of visits and all your documents to the agency.
A haircut. A gym.
Yeah, exactly. Anything you want.
Yep.
And you could sign, so we can also...
So that's part of our VIP package then?
Yeah, in fact, yes. But if you do need to organize visit, we can also translate the contract, for example, to make sure you understand what you are going to sign, and also help you to put in place all the contract for water, electricity, internet, which is very important. And so after, you could go to the...
Open a bank account as well?
Yes. So for that, we have 2 options also. So first options, it's to open your bank account before you are a resident. So the only condition is to do a deposit of 15K per person. The second option is when you are in France, but for that, we need to have a permanent address. So Airbnb, in that case, doesn't work.
But we're also official partners with WiseBank.
Exactly.
And WiseBank allows you to open up an online account, have a debit card.
Exactly.
And a Belgium European bank account, which can work.
It works. It works.
Yeah, okay.
For example, if we have this scenario with a client who book an Airbnb for 90 days. So this client arrived in France, we are going to advise to have a Wise account to start. It just I can do all the visits to find a good property. We organize everything. If finally this person find the property, we sign the contract, we put in place everything. And when we have a proof of address, we can organize a meeting and traditional bank in France to open a bank account. I do advise to have both accounts. I do have in my French life Wise account and traditional bank accounts. I think it's very practical to have both. So yeah, we can organize everything and we can adapt definitely the solutions to the situation.
Perfect. So I think we're well versed in this. I think it's around 5 families every week we help relocate to France. So I'm just interrupting this podcast to say thank you all so much for watching this. I'll just ask you for one favor. I've noticed in the analytics on our YouTube channel that nearly 80% of you watching today are not yet subscribers. If I can ask one big favor of you, it's just to click the like and subscribe button on this video. It helps you more than you can know, and it encourages us to also build more content like this. So I'm very grateful for you doing that today. Tell me more about the visa process. I know we've covered this in other videos, but really, I think if somebody's watching today, how does a visa application process look like for a client at French Connections?
So generally, it's quite one of the first service we are going to start, because without a visa, we cannot work after on the project.
It is worth mentioning, perhaps, sorry to interrupt, the fact that you can buy a house, however, if somebody just wants to buy a house without a visa.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can rent a place without a visa as well.
Yeah, you can have a second home in France, definitely. So for the visa, we are going to start from, we send you an email just to say welcome and thank you, of course, and also to collect your document, because we need some data to start the application, to understand what is your situation. You will have a call with the person in charge of the visa to understand also what are your difficulties. For example, if there is any timeline, if you need to be in France very soon, or the contrary, if you need to arrive in a year. So we will adapt after that. After we complete the visa form for you, we send a draft version of it to make sure you understand how we complete this form, because it's going to be the base of information for the consulate, the French consulate, to understand who you are and what you want.
So let me just interrupt for a second there. Maybe it would be useful for our viewers to understand how we actually process this. So we have both paralegals and lawyers at our disposal, but mainly also just ourselves in terms of interaction with the client, so that it's as smooth as possible, right? So we have this data completion collection that's done by our offices with legal and paralegal training, so that if we do need to transition on other types of visas that we were talking about beforehand or in other videos, we can actually always do that. If we find halfway through the process that we need to change or adapt the visa, we actually include that in our service, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In any case, it will be in charge by one person. It's a human who takes care of that, who knows exactly what are the conditions to obtain a visa and to understand what is the best option for the client. Also advise with the information we need to provide to obtain that visa.
And we guarantee the process.
Yeah, of course we do. When it's done, so when the visa form is complete, and if the client is happy how we complete that visa, and there is no curiosity for the client, with the information we provide on it, we can book together the appointments. So for that, we create an account on TLS, or TLS, in fact, because TLS is now in US. We create, so it's going to be during a call. We share everything. We want to make sure the client have straight information. So we just organize a call in video call, and the client can see in live what are the availabilities to go to the visa center, and can choose the best day, the best hour, and we book the appointment together. The fee to book the appointment are included in the price. They already pay with French Connections. So we do take care about this payment, and we send the confirmation to the client of the appointment. When this part is done, we send a big email with all the information the client needs to know and prepare before his appointment. So the list of documents they need to bring to the visa center, a link to organize a call with one of the experts of the team to make sure he could be correctly prepared for this interview. And after...
That's as best as we can do, right?
Exactly.
We prepare you as much as we can. And we're very grateful as well for all the feedback that we get from all of our clients
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
make this possible, because we currently have so many people going through. I think if you're watching this and you're thinking about using us as a service, one of our key selling points is really that we do this so often and we get so much feedback from clients that we get to be able to prepare you to what's going to happen, and that reduces your stress levels in itself. I think actually a stat that's interesting, and I'm very thankful for all of the hard work that your team and yourself have provided. French Connections actually supported 25% of all Americans buying in France last year. So that's a big chunk of the market, and we're very grateful for all of our clients that use our service and give us all of this feedback, and we try to improve every day, right? Great stuff, Juliette. There's loads of other things in France that you have to do: getting tax codes, getting healthcare applications, applying for residency, potentially applying for French nationality, driving licenses. We probably don't have time to cover all of those in so much detail, but I think what we've understood from today is yourself and our team in general are very well equipped to take care of all of these things if you wish to do so with us. Equally, we're very happy to share that information for free. You can find an awful lot of information on our resource center on our website. You can also book a call with members of our team to, well, maybe talk about your situation and build a tailored plan. We've also got all of these partnerships with the right companies, banks, insurance companies, etc., that you can work with clients with and put in touch with. So I think really if anybody's watching this and thinking about moving to France, they definitely hopefully have seen that you and your team have got the tools that you need to be able to help them make that relocation work. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching today. Thank you, Juliette, so much for coming today. And thank you for that information. If you'd like to find more videos like this, please visit the rest of our YouTube channel. Don't forget the comment box below. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to visit our website at www.frenchconnectionshcb.com, where you'll be able to book a consultation, find out more about free resources that we have on our website. And of course, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.